overall, our scholars say it's an authentic narration. So that's our, that section was our primary proofs. But is there any evidence from the early Muslims? Remember that hadith of the blind man has the clear wording Ya Muhammad in it. Clear wording. Any incidents from the early Muslims about calling out to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Yes, there are. Let's mention a few. Tariq Tabari, it mentions Khalid bin Walid and Muslims at Yamama would shout out Ya Muhammadah. Obviously they're in a battle. In a battle, they're trying to seek help and strength. Tariq Tabari, Bidayah wa Nihaya, it's mentioned Sayyidah Zainab, the sister of Imam al-Hussein, cried out Ya Muhammadah, Ya Muhammadah. Tariq Tabari also mentions people at the time of Hajjaj, an incident where people were crying and shouting out Ya Muhammadah, Ya Muhammadah. So they were under attack or suffering, and they were calling out the name of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So these are all from the early history. Carrying on. Al-Isti'ab ibn al-Bar said that Kulthum, daughter of Abu Bakr, said, by Allah, if they do this, I believe it was a marriage that they were discussing taking place. If they do this, meaning this marriage takes place, I will go to the grave of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and I will shout, call out there. Meaning that, why is she asking about going to the grave of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and shouting out in that place? So that's what they mentioned, that it's because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam can hear and can help. But generally speaking, what some people try to argue is that the Ya Muhammadah shouting out from the companions was just metaphorical, like as somebody is just remembering someone that they love and they're just mentioning their name. Not that they felt that they could that information can be conveyed to them. But we just mentioned earlier that the Ya Muhammad dua is mentioned in hadith. So that's their interpretation. But there is a narration which is a very clear one where there's no doubt about why the people were saying Ya Muhammadah. Al-Muntazam, in the year 170 Hijri. So this is very early period of Islam. 3 warrior brothers were captured by the Romans. So this is mentioned in historical works. It is reported that they called out Muhammadah. The king, the people that captured him, the king said, what are they saying? And he was told, they are calling on their Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this is mentioned in the early sources. That just takes away any kind of possible interpretation that is called. That you're just calling on somebody's name that you love, metaphorically. Here, 3 warrior brothers are captured, and they were calling out the Prophet ﷺ's name. Okay, and then the king says, why? And he said, and he's told by his people that they are calling on their Prophet. Moving on,